Welcome back to DES Trucks. In today's video, we're going to be comparing the 6.7 Powerstroke high output against the 7.3 liter Godzilla V8. Both of these trucks are geared the same. Both trucks have the 430 gear ratio, so this is going to be kind of about as close to apples comparison for these two engines that you can get. This one is a high output on the 6.7, and we are going to be towing a 10,000 pound load in this trailer. Here's a look at the load that we have. We've got some concrete blocks here, and those weigh roughly 3,300 pounds each. And the difference with this load is we're only putting about 1,500 pounds on our tongue weight. Now, that is a little bit different from our last load that we had, which was about 10,000 pounds as well, but it put a lot of tongue weight, maybe too much tongue weight, on the 7.3. The 6.7 handled it great. Now, comparing the two drivetrains in that particular load, the 6.7 just excelled because of the suspension on the 450 being so much better. Today, we have a similar amount of weight, but just a better balance on the trailer. And I'm kind of curious, with the better balance on the trailer, does the 7.3 do close to as good as a 6.7? I feel like a lot of people have that question because a lot of people don't want to pay for the 6.7 and they want to get the 7.3 as an alternative. And does the 7.3 live up to the hype, and does it perform well enough to be an alternative for the 6.7 Powerstroke? Let's get on the road and see how it compares. All right, and first up, 6.7 Powerstroke high output. We're gonna go ahead and go for a drive. See the difference in performance compared to the 7.3. Like I said last time, I had way too much tongue weight for the 7.3. The 6.7 was happy, being an F450 platform, not a problem at all with the tongue weight, but it was a very uncomfortable ride in the 7.3. But I guess also too, we could reset the trip computer for the fuel economy. Kind of forgot to do that. I'll do that at the stop sign. But on the side note, we got this new device in the 450. This is a PELC dash camera. I got that thing sent to me from PELC, and I have to say I'm pretty impressed with it so far. It's nice to have like a guardian angel almost watching over you, so if somebody pulls something on you, cause an accident, at least you got some type of a record of what happened. But let me go ahead and reset the trip and fuel before we go. Trip one. So right now we're getting 12 to the gallon for the last 750 miles. So if you're in the market for a 450 and wondering what kind of MPG you're going to get, that's what you're going to get. And that's pretty much what this thing's always getting. I'm towing, I'm just driving, whatever, it's always around there. So we'll go ahead and shoot this over to the highway and go through a little loop of MPG and talk about the difference that we noticed. So pulling out of this first turn, this first left, with 15,000 pounds, I almost can't tell it's even there. And I hate when people say that. Like, bro, you know you got 15,000 pounds back there. You can't say the truck don't feel it. The truck, in this case, really don't feel it. I kind of feel a little bit of difference in the suspension with 1,500 pounds on the tongue, but aside from that, it's a pretty comfortable ride. What do you think, Devin?
I think it's pretty safe and comfortable. It's not all over the place. It's not bumpy. Doesn't feel like we're carrying anything, honestly. And just like you said, I hate when people say that too, because you know you got all this weight behind us. It's a pretty comfortable ride. I do say so myself.
All right, so first right turn, coming in. No curb jobs. MPG is about 6.7 so far after the first turn, and I'll just do the same thing. I'll reset the MPG on the 7.3 at that first stop sign there. All right, truck's not letting me know. truck's not letting me know about the seatbelt because I disabled that, but I am now wearing it. I'm sure people are gonna comment, "You forgot your seatbelt." Oh. All right, getting on the freeway. What you think? Should we get out on a little bit, accelerating here, see what happens? We'll do the same thing with both trucks.
Get on a little bit, give us some love.
See what happened. I mean, it's gonna lower our MPG, but who cares at this point? We've already tested the MPG, towing the same amount of weight. Let's see what the truck can do. Oh, hello. They got a little skirt there.
Went for a little ride. That's all right.
So yeah, we'll have to keep the speed around 65 with it being wet out.
Watch out for them Mustangs.
Yeah. So that's another thing that's nice about the 450 is I hate to be like the guy that's always bragging about the 450, but it's got freaking so many standard features that make it worth the money. It's got a standard limited slip rear differential, and with that being standard, just like how we got a little bit squirrely, it wasn't like crazy fishtailing or anything, but I think one of the tires spun. You know, to describe it perfectly, one of the tires spun for a second. The limited slip is automatic. It kicks in, it locks up the rear, it keeps your rear end from being, you know, dangerous. So it's a safer vehicle, and you can feel it when you're driving in the snow. And people wonder, like, are dualies good in the snow? The 450 is really good in the snow because it's got the limited slip, and it's the best snow vehicle that you can buy. It's the best snow Super Duty you can buy because it's standard limited slip. Now I think the 350s come with that limited slip standard. The 350 dualies come with limited slip standard, but you don't have the wide track front axle with the 350, so it's a harder vehicle to maneuver compared to the 450 that can maneuver like a smaller truck, still give you an 8-foot bed, limited slip rear diff, tons of payload, commercial tires, which not that many pros to the commercial tires, but they perform okay. With the commercial tires, the rims look nicer. That's really what you get. But the wide track front axle is real value that you add to your vehicle. And at the end of the day, with the 450s, you get much better resale. So you have something that, you know, if times get tough, you can sell the vehicle, get out of it. People want them. They're always hot. They're always sought after. And also, too, you get the larger brakes with the bigger wheels, and that's why they say they put the bigger wheels on it, so that you can accommodate the bigger braking system that is available with the 450s. So I guess we'll pop off here. Got to scrub off some speed, get a little slip and slide on the front here as we merge quickly. That engine brake is nice too to have, helping us slow down. Larger brakes too. But for me, at the end of the day, that is why all right, here we go up the hill, and we're gonna, I mean, you guys seen the hill. So one of the things we were talking about off camera, and something I've noticed is the 6.7 is very, very, very powerful. But when you are towing, if you are towing, how fast do you think you can really go? Because you're not supposed to be really going that fast. You can see we got some wheel spin there. That's not ideal, especially if it's slippery. So probably won't be doing that again. But how fast are you really supposed to go when you're towing? The 7.3 is not as powerful, not as much torque, but you can only go so fast anyway at the end of the day. So does it really even matter that you have all this power and torque and stuff when the 7.3 is going to be kind of, I mean, they're both going to get low mileage. I mean, the 6.7 is going to be better. Maybe the 6.7 gives back 12. It's getting 8.7 right now. Maybe the 7.3 gets 6.5 or something. The difference in the cost of the fuel, the cost of a gallon of fuel, diesel versus gas, kind of offsets that anyway. And you can get into more trouble with the diesel, actually, now that you think about it. Like, I was not by any means flooring this truck when we were getting on the freeway. I was like less than half throttle, and we broke loose and a little in the rear. What if I gave this truck to an employee and he had the same load in it and he freaking stabbed it? He floored it. I don't know what would happen. But I know this, if he was in the 7.3 and he put the pedal to the floor in that same situation, we were already rolling. This wasn't from a dead stop dig. We were already rolling with the truck. I don't think the 7.3 does that. I don't think the 7.3 loses traction. I think it just revs up and goes, you hear the engine rev up, it downshifts. But in this truck, you can lose traction. You could break it loose in the rear. I don't know. From a business point of view, if I was handing a truck to a worker, there is zero need for that worker to be in a diesel because it's too fast. It gets in too much trouble. I mean, I don't know. The 7.3 makes a ton more sense, in my opinion, for that purpose. Now, I do personally drive the 6.7 as my own personal truck. And the same thing, it can get in trouble, but that's why it's way more fun for me. But we're going to pause this. See you guys at the next scene when we notice something. All right, so we're on our last turn back to the shop, and we're at 9.5 miles to the gallon. We have no casualties, although we've gotten a little squirrely for 1 second. We were able to keep it under control, but 9.5 to the gallon. We're gonna it's about 26-minute drive, 14 miles. We're gonna switch out the trucks and we'll see how the 7.3 does. So we're getting ready to switch out the trucks now to test the 7.3, but we first need a word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by none other than DS Trucks. If you want to get your snowblower rack, reach out to us on Instagram and we can hook you up. Right now we're putting it through the test. We got 2 guys on here and they're testing it out to make sure it doesn't break. So how much weight do you think we got on here right now?
Close to 600.
Close to 600. These are some bigger guys. They're not 100-pound guys, and they're bouncing up and down and it ain't breaking. So reach out to DS Trucks on Instagram to put in an order for one of these. This is a very early release type of product. Basically allows you to hold 2 snowblowers on the back of your truck with your salt spreader, so you can move more equipment and make your truck way more versatile. It slides onto any 2.5-inch receiver, and as long as you have 22 inches between your spinner, then you can fit this. And if you need more, if you have a bigger spinner, we can accommodate that as well. So comment below and let me know if you'd be interested in getting one of these. We can hook this up for you. We make these in-house, made in America. We build them in-house, and we can get one over to you. So anyway, back to your regularly scheduled program. So we've got the 7.3 liter hooked up. This snowblower rack that we offer is removed from the truck, and you can see that it's that easy to take off if you want to tow, and it doesn't weigh a whole lot. One guy can just lift this up, and the truck is still usable for towing. As you can see, we have our trailer hitch on here, and we can now, we could tow a trailer that quickly. So maybe you already have one of these on your truck. I'm not the first one to ever make a snowblower rack for a truck, but is your snowblower rack this versatile? But anyway, our load is still pretty good. It moved a little bit inside of the trailer, but one of my fears is that these blocks are going to crack. I do have one crack forming on this one, and this is for you guys. I'm risking my blocks so I can make some stupid videos. So let's go ahead and jump in the truck and see how the 7.3 does compared to the 6.7 with 10,000 pounds in the trailer, 15,000 pound load total weight of the trailer and its load, and a 1,500 pound tongue weight. So not too crazy on the tongue weight. Still a little bit of squat on the truck, but not too much. Let's see how the truck does. All right, so pulling out. Did we hit record on the top camera?
Yes.
All right, cool, good. Pulling out here. Yeah, you can feel a little bit more on the truck. I mean, even 1,500 pounds. This truck really needs something on the rear. That's the one complaint. I feel those 450 rear springs would be perfect on this truck. Like it's just not enough in the rear spring department, and it really leaves something to be desired just for towing. So we'll see how much rougher. You'll see it on camera if the ride's rougher, but we're in the safe zone. We're at 1,500 pounds of tongue weight, so we're in the ratings, pretty safe. It's just not the most comfortable. So before I forget, we're at the same point where we reset the MPG calculator, and we're gonna go ahead and do that again for this truck as soon as I figure out where. Is it this one? So this truck's reading 8.4 to the gallon for the last couple of, and I'll reset this one too. 8.4 for the last 200 miles, or I don't even know how many miles that actually said. First turn, I'll wait for this traffic to clear. But yeah, timbers, something in the back. Timbers would be the most cost-effective solution for the back. My seatbelt. Timbers would be the most cost-effective solution for the rear, but airbags would probably be the best. And I don't know, maybe I'll go with timbers this time around. But as far as power, for all intents and purposes, for getting the job done, it's more than just, it'll get the job done. No, it does a good job. Not as good as the diesel, but definitely good enough. I mean, we're up to speed, nothing stressed. The engine's not revving crazy. No issues maintaining a safe speed. And I mean, yeah, we're squatting, but at 1,500 pounds, the truck seems happy.
1,500 RPMs, it's riding nice. It's not hiccuping, it's not all over the road. It's nice, solid, straight drive. We're not galloping all over the place.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll get on it a little, but I don't want to, do nothing unsafe. I was looking back at the video with the last pull that we did with the 450. And one thing I am noticing is these brakes need to get turned up. All the way turned up. Turn these brakes up a hair. I didn't do that with the 450 though. I think I already turned them up because I picked those blocks up with the 450. So the brakes were already up. But yeah, the ride's not bad as it was before. With the skid steer, the ride was awful. But here we go. Left turn. Those brakes are a little too high. Turn it down a hair. 5.5. All right. Waiting for traffic to clear. Gonna merge. It's always that one car. All right, we'll take it after this. Hold on, guys. Ah! But prime example of having enough power to get out of the way. So we're getting into the power a little more. We're using the engine, whereas in a 6.7 we couldn't use the potential. I mean, it's there, but we can't use it. This engine, we're gonna get closer to what it can do max. We'll never reach what the 6.7 can do max. So trying to accelerate. It doesn't get dangerous though. And I need that power now. So we started to get to the upper limits of the power, and it doesn't get dangerous. The 6.7 can get squirrely because it's got so much power. This, I mean, I'm not saying that it was all the way to the floor. Again, it was maybe on that particular pole, we were half throttle. Didn't feel the need to get to the floor, but safer, definitely for a business application. That diesel can get dangerous. Actually, you put a young guy in that truck, maybe he's 24, 25, he's gonna want to step on it. We know what time it is. I could give a 25-year-old that truck and say, don't step on it, and he's going to step on it. So super confident ride, driving down the road good, no issues. We're gonna pause it and we'll pop back in when we get to that hill. All right, so getting off the freeway here, and it takes the turns and everything pretty good. It's driving down the road pretty good, no problems. Yeah, no complaints. I mean, we're at 6.7 to the gallon. Dang, that's pretty close to that diesel if you think about it. So, you know, my conclusion, even though we're not at the end of the video, my current conclusion is the 7.3 really will get the job done. It really is a viable option for some heavy towing situations. The only thing that the 6.7 really will just destroy the 7.3 is just highway MPG. If you were to get on a stretcher road and do hot shot, you're not going to be able to do that with the 7.3. I don't think. Maybe you could, but I don't think you could. The 6.7, the MPG of a long enough stretch, is going to be worth it. But for moving these type of materials around town, and you're not driving that many miles, the 7.3 really gets the job done. At 6.6 right now, it's going to go up from here. It's no doubt getting the job done, and it's a cheaper option. It's a safer from a power point. Now, from a power standpoint, the fact that you can't do something as dangerous with this engine, it just won't do it. At the same time, it gets the job done. Now, this engine could be in a big dump truck. In that application, you're going to get more gearing than even 430, potentially, depending on how it's set up. You can get more mechanical advantage than a 430 gear. You can get like a 4.55 or something in a dump truck. It's going to do that just fine. And a dump truck's going to be lighter than this because you don't have a trailer. You just have everything in one unit. You've got a dump truck. You could put, 10,000 pound payload into that if it has that much payload. I don't know off the top of my head what dump trucks have, but overall, a dump truck with 10,000 is lighter than a truck and a trailer with 10,000 pounds. The beauty of this setup that we have here with this 350 single rear wheel is we can come right to that 26,000 pound trailer combined weighting, and we can still be underneath a CDL, and that's kind of the sweet spot. If you get anything bigger than what we have right here, as far as a truck, any 1 pound bigger of a truck, then you need a CDL with this trailer that we have. So we're in a little bit of a sweet spot here, but here we go up the hill. Let's see how the 7.3 does. I mean, we made it up the hill. So it did its job.
It did its job, for sure. I feel like it hesitated slightly less than the 6.7 did.
You said it hesitated less or more?
It definitely hesitated a lot more than it did with the 6.7.
Yeah, but safer though. I mean, what if a young guy was just like got in that 6.7 and put it to the floor up that hill? You could shift the load. You can, who knows? I don't even know what would happen. But it wouldn't be safe. I can tell you that. But anyway, I guess we'll pause this and pop back in on the last stretch right before we get back to the shop.
As you can see, we're up to 7.4 miles per gallon. I feel like we're pretty neck to neck with the workforce here, Sean. Other than the MPG in the long run, I feel like we're neck to neck personal opinion, I should say.
I think to see the real advantage with MPG with the 6.7, you'd have to get on the highway and just drive for an hour or something. And we don't have time for that today. But that is, I think, where you would really see the benefit, and you'd see the 7.3 kind of fall on its face a little bit if you had to make those long runs. But for the city driving, the mechanical advantage is just too good with the 430 gearing. It just levels the playing field. You'd probably also see a little bit better MPG if you had like a 6.7 with the 3.55 rear diff or a 3.31, a pickup truck, a normal pickup truck, not a 450, because now you have some gearing maybe to play with to maybe get some lower RPMs in situations. But even so, I think the city driving is just going to be so close if the trucks are equipped similarly. Maybe if the 7.3 didn't have a 430 ratio, if it had like a 3.55, maybe it wouldn't do as well. But when you look at our transmission right now, we're in our 10th gear, we're at 1100 RPM, and we're chooching along with 15,000 pounds behind us. That's pretty impressive. This engine ain't working hard. I mean, we just shifted to 9th and we're still at like 1200 RPM. This engine don't have to work hard to maintain speed at all. So, all right, so yeah, we're passing the fuel station right now. Regular cash is $2.77 and diesel is $3.93. So well over $1 more, close to $1.25 more for diesel. And our current MPG is 7.5. We're neck and neck. So the diesel is just a little better on MPG, but not enough for this type of work. And I'm impressed. I was thinking that this truck was going to have a close. Was that guy got a little squirrely? Oh, he drifted it?
That Camaro almost went into...
Oh.
Welcome to Michigan. Where people think they
Dude, it's cold and wet. You got to slow down.
Right. Welcome to Michigan. Welcome to Michigan.
But yeah, I'm thoroughly impressed with what the 7.3 can do. I know it's a little bit of a controversial engine with the small or the few failures that they've had with the lifters, but definitely a good move. I think it's probably is outperforming that 0.62 just a little bit. You towed heavy with the 6.2 before, Devin. What do you think about the 7.3 versus the 6.2?
Personal opinion, I think that the 6.2 handled better than the 7.3 did, but that's just my personal opinion. It rode better. It had a different set of tires that were slightly bigger than the normals. Overall, I like that vehicle a lot more than the 7.3.
And there you have it. You know, a lot of honest review, honest opinion, and a lot of people are asking, is it worth it to get the 7.3 or the 6.2? Maybe it's even worth it to stick with the 6.2. But we're at the same point, rounding that right-hand turn where we were when we pulled the MPG number. We are at this exact moment, 7.4 miles to the gallon. And pretty interesting. So we're gonna go ahead and park the truck, and we got some work to do. We'll close out the video and we got to get our stuff done. So see you guys at the closing scene. All right, in closing, the 7.3, we have to take all things into account. It kind of outperforms the 6.7 because of the cost is so much lower than the 6.7. The 6.7 is easily a $10,000 option. You have the added maintenance. You have everything involved. If I could get a 450 with the 7.3, that wouldn't be a bad move, because we're really with the 450. I like the suspension. I like the engine. Well, I like the suspension. I like the longer wheelbase, and I like the wide track front axle. If I had a 7.3 liter engine for 10,000 less, and I still get everything else with the truck, that wouldn't be a bad option. And I think a lot of people would buy that kind of setup. So Ford, if you're watching this, offer people the option to get the 7.3 liter gas engine in an F450 pickup truck, because people will go for that 100%. So 7.3 for the win in this case, just for the sheer fact that it gets the job done. It's close enough on MPG. It saves the client a lot of money. It's safer, and we got to give it to the 7.3 because that diesel got a little squirrely just because it had too much power. And I guess there is a such thing as too much power in this case. Anyway, my name is Sean. This is DS Trucks. See you in the next video. Over and out.